Hello everyone, welcome, or welcome back. You are listening to Unfiltered with D and G, as in Dan and George. I am George, this is my co-host Dan.
Thank you, George, and cheers to episode number 7.
Number 7.
Woo!
Wow.
Number 7, time flies,
That's
huh?
a large shot, actually.
It's delicious. No better way to start the episode?
So let's get right into it. I heard about this ad on the radio today. It was about a self-defense class.
Ooh.
So, in my mind, I'm thinking, who really needs self-defense? I mean, is that really going to happen? Is that really going to work when you need it? Or is it just more of a fitness thing?
I think these days it's definitely more fitness. And it builds confidence if you know how to fight. You know, back in my time. I just sounds like no, but seriously, I'm not a fighter. I've never been to a class, but I remember back in high school, I took wrestling, and but you know, when you're on the hanging out with friends growing up and you wrestle or play sports, you have more confidence, you know. So I don't know how many people are out on the street, but I think everybody thinks they're gonna get a payday on well, not everybody, but professional fighters. I mean, making big money these days, you know. Well,
yeah, I understand if you're a professional fighter, obviously you're gonna practice, self-defense or whatever it is you practice. But
yeah.
when you have a business, that's what was in my mind, is this business of self-defense classes and karate dojos or whatever you call them. And I respect them having that business, and I respect them teaching all that stuff. But I think it's more of like a self-discipline fitness type thing rather than actual self-defense. I think when it comes down to it, when you start fighting, everything just goes out the window.
Oh yeah.
First of all, I don't think you're practicing, or anyone practices enough of it to just know at the back of their hand at an instant when a fight starts. I think they just start swinging. Like, you just do the windmill. And that's
the Karate Kid, though. Wax on, wax off. He didn't know what he was learning, but it then becomes instinct, Okay, so if you do it enough, you would assume instincts take over. But I agree. And you cannot train for that adrenaline rush.
Speaking of Karate Kid, the wax on, wax off. So if someone tries to punch you in the face, you might be able to wax that on or wax that off. But when someone starts coming towards you and they're about to tackle you, what are you gonna do? The crane?
Sweep the leg.
I don't think you're gonna have enough time to just set yourself up and kick them in the head as they're just coming at you in an instant, and then you just have to brace yourself. I think. And then it depends on how they're fighting,
right?
Because if they're like ground fighting and you've been practicing, karate, which I don't think has any ground fighting in it. There might be some, but it's all kicks and punches.
Sure. I mean, there's definitely female fighters that would whoop practically any man's ass attacking them, but I think it gives women this false hope that if they take these classes, they're better suited to defend a man. And I think it's like
that's an interesting, because I kind of thought that too. It's
that's how I feel.
When you said it gives people confidence, or
that's all it is.
The person that's learning to fight, it gives them false confidence or false hope that they can defend themselves when they really can't. I think just not fighting or trying not to get in that situation is the best situation.
Yeah, avoid any kind of violence for sure. But in this day and age, can you blame people in a sense for wanting to better be able to defend themselves? I mean, there's a story.
Obviously, you should know how to defend yourself, but I don't know if self-defense classes is going to do that.
But just like all the statistics out there, they tried to scare you into defending yourself, buy a gun, get that home alarm, because every 38 seconds there's a burglary or a home invasion. But in the grand scheme of things, they play on your fears. So that's why we do these things. But, it's good for discipline, confidence, absolutely fitness.
Yeah.
But I think these people are like parasites where they feed on your fear. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, but
they're trying to run a business.
They're running a business, right? Yeah. That's how they get you to sign up. The ones that stick it out obviously enjoy it, and it's good for them. Women look great doing it. Guys are always fit, and, they're badasses. But I don't know when they ever apply it in the real world.
I mean, who anymore says, yeah, I know karate. You know what I mean?
That's a dying art. It seems.
I feel like that's sometimes that's like a kind of a nerdy thing to say. Even
well, that's old school.
Is sad.
That's when we were 70s and 80s. That's all they did was karate.
Karate is a respectable art.
Well, now it's all the UFC. MMA is everything. That's the new gen mixed martial arts.
Mixed martial arts. Yeah. Yes. So it's mixed martial arts.
Correct.
And I don't think I've ever seen karate in any of the fights.
Well, most of the fighters,
boxing,
they have that
ground
discipline.
Fighting.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Chokehold,
strikers. Yeah, or they choke you out, and that's how a real fight would be. They would choke you out, pound you on the ground.
I think that's the best. when back then when it first started, when Hoist Gracie or the Gracie family was the one. He was the one that came out on top. Like there was a point where there wasn't any weight classes.
Right.
They would just do like an all out, no holds barred. Whoever comes out on top is the winner. which was, I think, ended up being Hoist Gracie,
Yeah.
and all he did was ground fighting.
That's it. It's amazing because he was, I don't believe he was a very big guy.
So
but
obviously that's the
he knew how to
best
choke you out. He can
self-defense.
submit you. Bend your bones. Yeah, it's crazy. But I don't see a 5'2" little girl, 85 pounds submitting me.
Yeah,
If I was attacking her.
That's the thing is, I mean, you have
don't
to
see
have
that.
at least.
And again, what if the guy he's 200 pounds, he's on some drugs, and he's not even thinking clearly, and he's not a fighter, but just the sheer size. And,
Right.
and then, unless you're a trained fighter, training under that adrenaline rush, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
They have to be
a trained
so
fighter.
good. Yeah, because I'm not sure if just the average fighter who's had a few fights could take down a 200-pound guy. But again, that Amanda Nunes out there in the world, she's like a dude herself. I mean, she's a badass, man. But I still think I can take her.
There are.
That's right. I'm challenging you there, Amanda. I can
I'd like
take
to
her.
see that, and I would bet on Amanda.
Would you? I think I could take her. Oh man, I'm a beast.
Okay.
Oh, you don't think you can take Amanda? She's a chick.
Yeah, but I'm not a
calling her
trained
out.
fighter.
You don't have to be. That's what I'm saying. Like, she has the confidence with
So
another
you think
woman.
a female trained fighter can be beat by a man who
Has no training?
has no training but has some kind of size and has some ability to fight?
I think if I were to connect my power enough, if I connected with her, she might be a little fast, but I think I would just concave her face. I would change the look of her. I don't think she could take a real punch from a man. But I don't know. That's why this whole thing with transgenders, you basically have men, now they're women, wanting to compete in female
they're
sports.
dominating sports.
They're dominating the sport. And why is that? Because they're men.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. They're stronger. They have more endurance. They're physically different with testosterone. And I mean, that's why we have men and female sports.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why we don't mix the two, right? I mean, unfortunately, we're made differently. But I think I could take Amanda Nunes. I'd take $1 million to lose. I'll tell you. I mean, like, if I lost, but I got paid $1 million, hell, I'd
Paid $1 million.
I'd fight Ronda Rousey and her together.
Ronda Rousey? I feel like I could take Ronda Rousey.
There you go.
I don't even know who Amanda Nunes is.
Oh, she's a beast.
Let me look her up.
No, she's definitely a tough broad, but that's fighting other broads. I mean, generally speaking.
Yeah, she looks pretty tough.
No, she's tough, and I've seen her fight many times, and she's a beast. You've seen Ronda Rousey, right? Holly Holmes.
Yeah, Holly Holmes.
Yeah, she can kick you and knock you out.
142 pounds, 5'8".
142
So she's
pounds.
almost my height.
You're a little heavier.
30 pounds less.
But a girl isn't going to take you down. Come on.
I mean, I'd still be kind of worried.
So for $1 million, you wouldn't take the fight?
If I got, well, of course, for $1 million.
Win or lose, you take it.
Here's the thing.
How about $10 million to win?
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's $1 million. All right.
Yeah.
You don't get anything if you lose.
Okay. And $1 million if you win?
$1 million if you win.
So it's a win or lose. That's it.
But there's no hold barred. She can just concave your face like you said.
Oh, yeah.
before. Like you're going to be hurting basically. Your
No,
nose
I would take the fight and I would win.
Your face will be bashed in.
I would put all my eggs in one basket, and I'd be at Vegas betting on me because I would destroy her.
God,
There's just no way.
I
Because I don't think her physical. Now she's a beast, but I don't think her physical strength could take me down. I don't think I can. She'd have to choke me out, but she's never gonna be in that position. I'll fling her around that ring like nothing.
you know what?
Like butter.
I think I would bet on her.
Oh, dude, you would lose. You would lose. I have endurance. I have skill. I have strength.
And
I'm like a fucking ninja. I'm telling you.
all right.
And I'm also almost 50, and I'd take her out.
ninja.
I'd take her out.
All right.
Yeah, I'd take her out for a burger after anyway. But the thing is, for $1 million, the thing is, you would get so much adrenaline from the rush of it all that someone's trying to attack you that I think, and then in win or lose, 0 or $1 million,
Well, here's the thing.
She wouldn't last one round.
So there's no it's going to be tomorrow. They just call
No,
you
I-
up today and say, you know what? There's no training. Tomorrow is the fight.
I would arrive to the fight hungover because I'd be partying the night before, and I would still whoop her ass. That's how confident
I would
I am.
definitely bet on her then.
That's how confident I am that I could take her.
All right, well-
But again, I got, what, how heavy was she? 142?
142.
I got 65 pounds on her, but I'm a man. I'm going to bet on physical sports, physical competition. A man against a woman, the man just has a huge advantage. And again, that's what makes it fun.
Well,
that would be a great one.
Look at other fighters. There's other fighters out there who are actually fighting, and then one weighs more. Look at Hoist Gracie.
Well,
Look
but
at those
now
fights.
they pretty match the weight. You know, you got to
Yeah, now they do, but back then when Hoist Gracie was was fighting,
But that's a man against another man.
but the weight is the
Well, no, I'm not just saying the weight, but I mean, but physical strength from a man to a woman is different, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think a woman can take the hits that a man's gonna do. If that was the case, there'd be more spousal abuse from the woman slapping around the man, and it does happen. The only reason it happens is because the man doesn't fight back. He takes it like a champ. He doesn't want to go to prison and get ass raped. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
I mean, I don't think
That's
many.
a smart man.
That's a smart man, and you should never hit a woman. But there are those times where I bet every man would want to, but we don't.
Speaking of that,
yeah.
what do you think about Johnny Depp and his little...
Absolutely.
Did you read about that?
Of course. She
I mean,
lied.
she was like cutting his fingers and slapping him around. And,
she's crazy.
And
he took the blunt of all the bad press. Like, he was slapping her around,
right.
and he was innocent.
No one believed him.
Yeah, because everyone believes the woman. That's just the way it is. Because how many men really are going to be abused by a woman? It might, I would say psychologically, we're all abused, but physically, if a man would stay in a relationship because he wants to, if he's being physically abused, he's got the power and the strength and the ability to leave. That's my opinion. But, there are women that are 250, and they're dating a little guy at 120, and I guess maybe in that case, the guy is in a disadvantage. But I don't see that happening a lot. You don't really see that a lot, do you?
Because you don't hear about it, because no guy's going to admit that he's getting slapped around by his girl.
I guess, but I mean, you don't even see that type of two people in the mall at the movies. You don't see it so disproportionate from the woman being much larger than the man. But there's some tough truck driver women out there. They'd slap you around.
They have to be truck drivers.
Well, they have a different kind of vibe. They're tough women out there. I'm not going to say they're not tough women, but you put a tough woman against a tough guy, and I just don't see it. I see the guy winning that brawl every time. And if it wasn't the case, we would have in today's world UFC fighters against men and women. But it wouldn't even be a match. Come on. Even me, an untrained, unskilled, out of my prime, and I would bet on myself.
That reminds me of, I had an English, actually she was a math teacher, that for some reason she started talking about men and women, and she right out said, men are, for the most part, better than women. And this is back, I don't know, the 1980s, the late 80s, and I would never forget this. But basically she, in front of the whole class, she said, men are, for the most part, better at everything. What profession can any of you think about that a woman is on top? And everyone, of course, there's the girls that are saying, a cook, a chef. And she's like, no, the top chef is a male chef.
Oh, in the world, you mean?
World, yeah.
Top chefs. Well, I mean...
Sewing.
I tend to agree.
The clothing world is dominated by the male.
Everything. But I mean, men take more risks.
But it's funny that a female herself, would say that.
I think a lot of women would say that, except these extreme feminists that think they're better and everything. But, I mean, men have the dangerous jobs. Generally, I mean, there are female cops, there's female soldiers. Hey, I agree, it's a dangerous world. But I don't know, are females really on the front line, like with all the guys? That there's a small percentage. Right. They're out there, and again, that's great. But I don't think they're in the most. I mean, the Navy SEALs and Rangers and Marines. How many are actual women?
Right. I think recently 2 women passed the Rangers training.
It's fantastic.
I don't know where they are now.
Let that woman fight another male Ranger. See what happens. Right. It wouldn't even be a contest.
Probably not.
But let's say you're a Ranger. Who do you want on, watching your back? A female or a man?
That's G.I. Remember G.I. Jane?
I loved it. Great movie. That was a fantastic movie.
Well, she proved everyone wrong, didn't she?
So it's a movie. Only in the movies. Didn't she finish training with like a broken bone or something?
I don't know.
Broken leg. But no, I mean, I'm not putting down females by any means. I'm just saying hand-to-hand combat, there's a woman's not going to win. In the physical, women are much smarter than me. I'm sure there's all over. We're not rating the education, but in physical sports, there's just no way. I mean, that they can compete physically.
When do you think this world? When do you think it's going to come to the point where this world will be completely even?
Never.
With men and women in the workforce.
Well, I think it's even in the workforce now. I think it's even. I just think there's more men pursuing occupations that women aren't pursuing. So maybe there's 1 or 2 women for every 100 men entering a certain field. So it appears that there's more men in those fields, obviously, because that's the truth. So, for
so just out of default, it's going to be more men because they're the ones that aren't getting pregnant. So
exactly
they're the ones that are having to work.
Yeah.
And the female is the one that's having to raise the family or bear the children because they're the ones that they're the ones that can.
Absolutely.
So they can't be in the workforce. So there's just by default, they just can't work more unless they stop having children. Unless
and there goes all humanity.
So I wonder how that experiment would go in an alternate world if women and men equally could have children. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like
if we both could.
If a man
choose,
could have children, I wonder how the dynamics would change.
Well, then I bet it would be more even, 50-50. But we were created, the woman gives birth, and generally speaking, will stay home more frequently than the man. I would love for a woman to give birth, go back to the workforce. I'd be a stay-at-home dad in a heartbeat. There's no real... But then, but people act as if men want to go work. I mean, if we had an option to stay home and raise a child, we would. But if it just doesn't seem to really be that way. I mean, I don't know of any man that can't wait to get up on Monday and go to work. I mean, that's not our ultimate goal, but if there was a woman making enough money to provide for the family, we would stay home in a heartbeat. I think every man I've ever met said if my woman made enough money, I'd stay home. You know, I don't think we have to work. We would work on hobbies and, you know, other things. I don't need to work. I would love to be taken care of.
And you would take care of the kids?
Absolutely.
Screaming kids and
well, the maid would
around.
take care of that. I mean, obviously, if my wife is working, she's making enough money, so, you know. Reminds me of Office Space. Like, so you physically take the order to the engineer? Well, the fax.
Well, no, my secretary does that.
Or the fax. So what exactly is it that you do here? But you know what I mean? I know, but if you, let's say you're married, and she's making $1 million plus a year, and she, you know, would ask you to stay home and take care of the dog. You don't even have kids. Are you saying you wouldn't?
Well, of course.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
there you go.
Easy. Yeah, it's
a no-brainer, and that's what happens generally throughout the, you know, the species. I mean, men are out there working, women are helping raise families, men are, you know, being more of the security, finances, stuff like that. But in today's world, everybody seems to have to work. Yeah, both men and women, but generally, one of them's working part-time.
And the children that suffer because both parents are working.
Absolutely, in my opinion, agree.
So I wonder if that's what the downfall is these days. Is both parents are working and kids aren't getting paid attention to, and that's why more kids are, you know, not doing too well.
I 100% agree with that. I think there should be a parent, one parent.
And there's more single parents now these days,
right.
And they're working, of course. So
of course,
kids aren't getting parented.
There's no lack of parenting is a good way to put it. You bet.
Because back then, when you know the woman stayed at home and the men worked, how many shootings were there?
Exactly. So let's blame it on the parenting.
Well, that's what I've always said.
It's time for a shot.
All right.
We're getting close. You ever try this 1792?
What is it?
It is a whiskey, and it is fantastic.
Yeah, all right, I'll try
It's a
it.
straight Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It is fantastic. I was on vacation. First time I had it was in Washington State. Little shout out to an ex there. She she did have me tested. It was fantastic. I'll give you just a little. Since
Yeah.
you know, you're not a whiskey drinker as much, but
I'm not a drinker.
cheers
period.
again.
Cheers, sir.
It's delicious. Isn't that smooth?
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That is
you
good.
feel the burn? Yeah, it's
So what
fantastic.
is it, 1970? What is it?
1792.
1792. That's the name of it?
That is the name of it. It's
So
delicious.
you go to the store and, hey, I'm looking
1792.
for 1792 whiskey.
Yeah, it's absolutely delicious.
Not bad.
And this is something I wouldn't mix with a Coke. You know, you got to take, you know, sip on the rocks or straight, and then,
Sure.
you know, have
I'm not a
have
whiskey
something on the
drinker.
side. I love whiskey. Each week I plan on having a different bottle. You know, this week you got your Fireball. George loves Fireball. I like a good whiskey. I'm not a big fan of the cinnamon stuff of that, but it's all right. If you had to choose right now, you'd still do the Fireball.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a whiskey drinker.
You
But
will
that is
be.
smooth. But
Yes.
as a person not being a whiskey drinker, that actually is pretty good.
It's pretty smooth.
Yeah.
It's pretty smooth. And I agree. I think when I first tried it, I wasn't nearly as much as a whiskey drinker and I would be today. And I thought it the same thing. I took it as a shot, kind of sipped it a little bit, and it was so smooth. I loved it.
I never actually knew what that meant when someone said, "Oh, it's so smooth." I guess that's.
So you have something that's smooth.
I
And then
guess now I've experienced that smoothness.
yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, there's so many alcohols that I just can't stand. It just doesn't taste good. One comes to mind, like Rumplemint. It's like, ugh, just so bad.
It's funny how all these drugs and things that are being banned or are banned, but alcohol, which kills countless people, is the one that's still around and that's still legal.
Well, think about Prohibition. I mean, all the problems it created, organized crime, all stirred up from Prohibition. You know, people still drank. They drank more during Prohibition when it was illegal than it is when it's legal. And the bottom line is people want what's illegal or
It's not
dirty or
available.
hard to get. That we have a tendency to want what we can't have.
So you think marijuana? Marijuana's getting a little more popular now. So you think once marijuana gets legal, just like alcohol, it'll be less popular?
I do to a point. I bet. See, when you hear the numbers on marijuana, I guarantee, just like when they report, like Colorado reported like 1.3 billion in sales. So it sounds like a lot, but I bet Colorado was probably selling close to that before, but just it was illegal. But more people were probably just as much doing it. There's nothing exciting about going to go smoke a cigarette. If you don't smoke, you're not going to run to the store and go smoke a cigarette. There's nothing sexy about it anymore because it's legal. But once it's legal across all 50 states, people are going to try it, the ones that want to, and then that's it. They're going to go to other drugs that are illegal.
So what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
So what you're saying is because drinking something is more socially acceptable and more, I guess, physically doable. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Rather than getting something like a pipe or a vape and smoking something is less popular than actually drinking.
No, I would just say during Prohibition, the stats are more people drank during Prohibition than they do now. But I don't know how they could even determine those stats because it was illegal, and I don't know how are they, figuring that stuff out. But that's
I don't know. There's
that's
a lot of
record.
drinking going on these days.
Well, I guess what the population was and what people were doing, but making it illegal didn't stop people from consuming. That's the bottom line. So marijuana has been illegal, let's just say 10 years ago. It was illegal probably in all 50 states, whether it was medical or not. People were still smoking. But it made the cartels and probably our government very, very rich, whoever's selling it. But you can't honestly say people weren't smoking marijuana, right? Just because it was illegal, They were still smoking it. So it's hard to say what sales were because it was illegal. But when you hear what the states are making these days and what sales are, it sounds amazing. And it's great. I mean, more money going back to hopefully fighting drug addiction and opioids and other things. But the bottom line is I don't think it's... there's going to be an influx of people trying it now that it's legal, but they're either going to continue to use or say, hey, there's no real appeal anymore because I can go buy it down at the market or not,
Right.
So time for a little cheers.
We gotta take a break.
Right. Jeez.
Cheers, buddy.
All right.
So speaking of drugs and alcohol, I would like to try mushrooms.
Nice. For what
Supposedly
reason?
mushrooms are legal in Colorado now, I think.
The edibles.
Edibles, yeah.
Huh. So you're going for that experience?
Well, I hear certain mushrooms will enlighten you, quote unquote, enlighten you, open your mind.
Similar to a lap dance?
Well,
Jeez.
that's a different kind of drug.
Well, that's good. So trip to Colorado in your future?
Well, if there's, if what I heard was true, I do want to try it.
It's good. You'll have to then let us know how that experience was.
I will.
All right, that's interesting. But when it comes to marijuana and liquor, and just like liquor, I mean, it's illegal for teenagers, right? So basically, it's sexy to go get drinks when you're underage. The second someone turns 21, it wears off because now you can go legally buy it. They'll still do it for 22, 23, but I met countless people in their early 20s that they don't even drink. It's like, and they usually say, I've done that. I've been there, done that. It wears off, and it's because it's sexy when you're young. And also you're immature and dumb and full of cum, and you just, you're partying. And I get that. I totally get it. But I also think, like marijuana, at some point, might not be in our lifetime, but I think 10, 20 years from now, when it's 50 states legalize it, you're still going to have kids wanting to that are underage because it's sexy. But once they're of age, and then people who can buy marijuana, they're going to want to try the next drug. I'm not saying it's a gateway drug. I'm saying it's no longer sexy if it's legal. People like things that are illegal.
Some people believe that marijuana is a gateway drug.
Well, I do. I mean, I do think it leads to other things because, again, look at you now. Now you want mushrooms.
Well,
You see
I've always
what I-
wanted mushrooms.
But I'm just saying.
And as a matter of fact, I have come to find out that I am allergic to marijuana.
Wow. There you go.
I will admit that I have tried marijuana and I've smoked 8
medicinal
edibles.
purposes.
No, absolutely not medicinal. It was absolutely recreational.
There you go.
But I just wanted to try it, and my very first time trying it, I actually threw up because I took too much.
Wow.
And I was understanding what my body was doing. I thought it injected poison. So it was trying to get rid of the poison, which your body will try to do. If anything that's trying to,
Absolutely. It's fighting it off.
if it thinks you've ingested some kind of poison or anything, it'll
Sure.
do the natural thing and make you throw up and
Absolutely.
make you sweat and give you warning signs that something's wrong.
When and where did you do this?
I did it in 2006, 2007.
So
back
age-wise,
in Albuquerque.
You're probably, what, 35?
35, yeah.
Okay,
And,
35. And why? Was it because it was sexy, it's illegal,
no,
or
I
you just wanted to try it to try it?
I just wanted to absolutely try it.
There you go.
And it was actually, so after throwing up, and then the effects were still there, it was actually a great experience because everything seemed brighter. Everything had a glow to it. Everything slowed down. It was actually a great experience after the throwing up. While I was throwing up, is
Minus the throw up.
Yeah, minus the throw up and the sweating after.
Oh.
So it's funny because ever since then, when I smoked after that, I was always trying to get to that point. And
Interesting.
that's what I hear about just regular drugs like, heroin or cocaine. Everyone wants to get to that point. And so that's
Sure.
why they get addicted or they overdose because their tolerance
builds and
builds
they
up
think,
and they
yeah,
can't
absolutely.
get to that point and they need to keep going. They need to keep injecting more
That
and
fix.
more. just
We're
to
all
get to
chasing that
point.
next fix, that next.
Well, I mean,
that high.
Obviously, I didn't get into that trap, but
Why not try cocaine?
I
Sounds expensive.
well, no, I'm not as curious to cocaine as I was to marijuana
You want to know why I don't try cocaine?
because you think you're gonna get addicted to it.
Because I know I like it. That's why. And I have an addictive personality disorder. I know it in me. I chase the things I like. and I can't help it. So I stay away from sugar because I love it. I don't eat a lot of bread anymore because I love it.
Well,
but I think I would be totally wanting cocaine every day.
Well,
on a hooker's ass.
Up my nose just doesn't appeal to me. You know what I mean?
Well,
and injecting something in you
drugs
with a
are bad.
syringe doesn't appeal to me either. So smoking is kind of like the most I want to do.
Oh, but that's good. That's good. Yeah, you're kind of having an addictive personality too. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone does, right? We all enjoy things and we want to experience them. But once you experience something, you know, it's not technically healthy, but you enjoy it, then you chase it. You know, I think we all have our little vices in life.
And by the way, I'm allergic. When I say I'm allergic, I break out in a rash. So,
from smoking marijuana?
From smoking marijuana.
Did you see a doctor for that?
No.
And was it a rash on your balls?
So I actually
Where'd you get the rash?
I actually tested this. So, you know, I smoked one time, and then just kind of out of nowhere I would get this rash, and I didn't think about it. I never thought of connecting it.
Well, where was the rash?
Well, it was just on my neck. The first time it was on my neck.
So it broke out on your neck?
Yeah, I just started itching, and I looked in the mirror and I was like,
sure,
there's this rash. And then I didn't think about it, but then until the next time I smoked,
and same thing
I
happened?
noticed that I got a rash, but it wasn't on my neck, it was just somewhere else.
Changed locations?
Yeah, it just changed location. I might have gotten it on my arm or something. And then I started thinking, I'm allergic to certain things. If I eat butter, I'll break out. If I eat something greasy,
things
if
affect
I eat
us.
certain foods,
Absolutely.
I will break out like in a pimple or something. And I've learned that from my doctor, that's an allergic reaction.
Yeah.
So I am allergic to certain foods. And I put two and two together and I thought, could I be allergic to marijuana?
I never heard of anyone allergic to marijuana.
Which,
it's amazing.
To me, is unfortunate because
You enjoy it.
I do like the effects of it. Anyway, I kind of put two and two together and I thought, could it be the marijuana? So I stopped smoking. I let everything clear up.
It went away?
I went away. I smoked again, and sure enough, here comes this rash.
Wow.
And so I actually did it again just to make sure because I didn't want to believe.
You really wanted to know.
I didn't want to believe that it was marijuana that I was allergic to.
Sure.
I stayed eating the same thing for that
stuff that you knew your body wasn't going to react to,
exactly,
like food, right?
Exactly. And then I smoked again.
And rash again?
Of course, rash again.
Where'd it come out?
I don't remember.
Now,
But
I
I'm
gotta
just
ask.
saying that I started itching, and just this small, tiny bumps came out.
Okay, but why not smoke your marijuana, enjoy your fix, and just take a Benadryl? I mean, that kind of helps on, on allergies
Well,
and
the
stuff.
thing is, if my body's
Rejecting it.
if my body's telling me, hey, we're going to do this to you
Sure.
as a warning sign not to smoke this,
That's
then
good.
I kind of want to heed that warning.
You're responsible.
Well,
You're being responsible. That's good.
yeah, well, I mean,
but it sucks
plus
to...
Benadryl kind of makes me sleepy anyway, so it would defeat the purpose.
It does suck, though, to have to deny yourself something that you enjoy so much. That just sucks. I mean, that's the world we live in.
Well, like your friend there that's allergic to alcohol.
Yeah. Shout out to Judy. Yeah, you know what?
unfortunate.
It is amazing. Yeah, I gotta give her a shout out. I didn't even believe it when we first met. I enjoy a cocktail. It's like throwing holy water on a vampire. I mean, she sizzles with the touch of liquor. I didn't even know that was a thing. Did you ever hear of anyone allergic to alcohol?
So just like you never heard of anyone allergic to marijuana.
I never have.
There's billions of people out there. There's certain things people are just
absolutely.
become allergic
But
to.
I only have
allergic to peanuts.
I know, but
I can't believe people are allergic to peanuts.
That I heard of, but I only have 4 friends. So now, but I mean, seriously, when your circle's small, it just seems like, like when you really get to know somebody and you find out what they're allergic to. I mean, you don't meet people and find out really, first question, what are you allergic to? But I didn't believe her when she had told me. And when we first met, she actually took a couple of shots. They were weak ones. They were lemon shots or, stuff like that. But yeah, she flared up and she one time sat on a bench that obviously somebody spilled something strong, maybe a tequila or whiskey, and her skin touched the bench, the stool where somebody had dropped probably a liquor, and just a rash like no other.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's amazing what people are allergic to. But yeah, people on planes, they get upset if you open up a bag of peanuts near them if they're allergic to it. I mean, but to that's death. You can die from that. That's crazy. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
And you grow up, you have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you drop dead when you're young.
I can't imagine not being able to eat peanut butter.
Peanut butter's delicious, but allergies suck. So anybody out there that has an allergy for whatever it is, that's rough. Sorry about that. I'm not allergic to anything that I'm aware of. I do like roulette. Now maybe that's like an allergy,
You should be allergic to that.
I should be, but
because
man,
then
I enjoy that
have
game.
A better life.
A better life. What life? What is life without roulette?
Oh my God!
I love that game.
This guy.
You know what? It's only a problem when you
He
lose.
picked the worst
Odds in the game, man. I love it.
The worst game to
love it.
like to gamble with.
I love it. Anybody want to start gambling something on a game? Pick roulette.
No, do not.
Fuck
do not
poker.
gamble. First of
Everybody at the poker table is a pro.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that.
I want to talk about gambling.
Let's
real
talk
quick,
about it.
Real quick.
Let's do it. I know everything about this game.
Well, it's not just a game, but just gambling. Period.
Addiction.
Yeah,
That's what I know more about.
and when people say, well, just play with the money you can afford to lose, just that statement alone,
You want to slap them.
just that statement alone should warn you,
Right.
to say you should only gamble with the money you can afford to lose,
Right
off the bat.
Right, they're already telling you you're gonna lose.
You're gonna lose.
Oh man.
And that's what gambling is.
For those gambling addicts out there, we all know what we're talking about. We're always chasing that next win, but it's so much fun. That's my drug of choice, in my opinion. That's why,
It's fun when you're winning.
Well, it's only a problem when you're losing. That's the one addiction
And
that you have a
eventually you're gonna
chance to
lose.
win. Yeah, but that's the one addiction. If it's alcohol, drugs, even women, it's bad on your life, your body, your soul. Gambling's the one addiction to where you have a chance to win. And when you win though, but when you win, you're a god. Everybody loves you. You're buying drinks, you're partying, you know, whatever. But when you lose, that's when the addiction kicks in, and everybody, you're a moron, you're a loser. But anybody that's gambled, when you take home 5-10 grand, you're a winner, right? And you love it. You sleep good, you feel good, you buy something nice, and when you lose the same amount, you want to fucking kill yourself. Am I wrong?
Well, yeah, obviously. Here's my advice to would-be gamblers who want to try it. I mean, try it if you want, but don't even waste your time, because here's the thing. The only way you're ever going to win in gambling is if you win the first time and you stop.
And you never gamble again.
You never gamble again.
That's not fun. What's life without that?
So here's the thing. If you gamble and you win, that's unfortunate, because now the people that did win think they can just do that over and over again, because it's so easy. So now when you're gambling and you win, you're going to go back and you're not going to win every time. And eventually, if you gamble enough, you're just going to give it all back. Whatever you won, you're going to give it all back.
But isn't everything in life a gamble?
Yes, it is a gamble.
Not? So
but
you pick and choose.
It's different.
What you want to die by. In a sense, like we're all going to die. You might as well choose something that you enjoy. Have fun with it. I am not somebody you want to ask their opinion on anything. And when it comes to like what you value, what you love, what you want to do, because again, none of us are getting out of this world alive. So enjoy. For me, I like roulette. Right. I like some liquor. George likes poker. Poker more than me.
Yeah, but anymore these days, poker's about the same thing.
It's still a gamble.
It's still a gamble.
Even when you think you can win.
Yeah, and really only 1%. 1% of
the time you win.
Majority of poker players can really do it for a living or can consistently win.
Well, there's nothing worse than getting beaten when you have pocket aces and 6'9" offsuit takes you down and you want to fucking kill yourself.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, but it happens. It happens. Those things are going to happen. Right. They're always going to happen. It's never not going to happen.
Right. But it sucks when you play it perfectly and you still lose to a moron, and yet you're looking like I should never even be at this table if I can't win against this moron. But yet they beat you.
Right.
And the problem I have with poker. And shout out to all my poker friends. It is very slow. There's nothing like roulette. Every 19 seconds there's a spin. But on poker, what pisses me off the most, and I have tons of poker friends out there. I love you all. You're all wonderful. But we all do the same thing. We're pissed when someone calls you with an inferior hand, but then they catch. And you're pissed that they even called. But yet you want them to call because you're fucking winning.
Yeah.
And so when they call, they're a moron. But and when they do call and they don't hit their hand, you're a fucking genius because you suckered them in. Everyone's a professional at the table. And it bothers me because I'd rather just play my roulette against the dealer and the wheel. And even though, that's just my own thing. I'm not playing against other people. I know. But what I'm trying to say is it annoys me. And I get pissed too. Like when you're winning on every level of the game and then they river you out, And it seems like I never really catch the river, but we all remember the losses. We don't remember the wins. But you know what I'm trying to say? It's like it's unbelievable how many times I felt so unlucky in the game of poker. And in roulette, it's the same thing. But
I was just about to say,
I know.
It's unbelievable. You always think it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable
that the ball didn't go to that number.
Wow, but it's fucking the magnet. I see it move. I see it take these weird spins. I play it enough to know. When my time on this world is done, I cannot wait to know if that shit's rigged or not. There better be someone up there above.
It doesn't have to be rigged.
I know. It's already rigged. The game itself is rigged.
The game itself is rigged.
I know.
They don't even need to put
But I disagree with that. And
if they have the exact same formula, 38 numbers, and they pay you out 1 out of 36.
35. 1 out of 35.
But there's 38 numbers on the board.
36 numbers and a 000.
Yeah.
38
35,
possibilities.
36, 37, 38. So there's 38.
Sure.
But they only pay you out 37.
35.
They only pay you out 35. It's just a losing game.
No, I disagree. But let's just say you're playing 33, 34 numbers a spin. Let's just say.
Here we go.
You can win $1 every spin. But when you lose a spin, yes, you've lost $34. You got to win. But you should win so much.
33 times in a row. To make up for the one loss.
But let's just say you throw your money down. You're playing, let's just say $25 a number, right? You're in there for a lot. You can't do it here locally because you hit the max in the machine. But you go to Vegas. You let's say you throw a quarter down on 30 numbers, right? You're gonna hit. You're gonna make $100. You walk away. You do that every day. Bam. That's $3,000 a month. Yeah. $36,000 a year, tax free. Come on.
It's so easy. Look how many people are doing it.
They don't got the balls to do it. That's why. One day, George, I'm going to be doing it.
All right. Well, that's
next topic. Well, first of all, I do want to bring up this one chick who. This was we brought it up last week. It's the entertainer who fell from 20 feet down below.
Okay.
First of all,
if none of you heard of it, it's a stripper who's on the stripper
entertainer pole. George.
Dancer.
They like to be called entertainers.
She's a dancer. This exotic dancer, climbed up high, up to the ceiling, 20 feet on this pole, and she fell, lost her grip, fell. Probably was on drugs. I don't want to judge, but most likely was on drugs.
Maybe she was getting a rash.
And she fell all the way from the top down to the bottom, slammed her face, broke her jaw, and got up and kept twerking. Only a person on drugs would do that, by the way. Anyway, she just kept on twerking and the show went on.
I completely agree.
When it was all finished and done, she ended up with a broken jaw and...
she fucked up her face.
Yeah, broken jaw wasn't enough, but anyway.
Well, I do admit, first of all, the power and strength this entertainer could do to climb up 20 feet, impressive. We're giving you a round of applause on that one.
Oh, yeah.
And very impressive. You took the fall like a champ. I think that was amazing, and you finished the song. Even more impressive. However,
it's on YouTube if any of you want to.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Look that up. Stripper falls.
Oh, it's brutal. It's brutal. Even a local girl here in town, she fell.
Broke her wrist.
Well, yeah, she broke like her arm, or she was in a cast for a while. Very impressive fall as well. But the point is now OSHA is trying to pass a law where strippers who are climbing up the pole have to wear a helmet.
I don't think they're trying to pass a law. I think
You think that's a
recommendation?
A recommendation?
Yeah.
First of all, that's ridiculous. Half of those broads don't even get up on the pole. They walk around and hand the hand out. The hand out for a hand out.
Well, if I was a strip club owner, I probably wouldn't even have them
on the pole
anymore. Yeah.
But there were talks about they wanted the poles removed because so many injuries happen. My only debate on this is, the pole probably does affect a few injuries, maybe 2 or 3 a year. However, those fucking shoes have to cause more broken ankles than anything I've ever seen in my life, right? They're wearing stilts. Right. You know what I'm saying?
No.
They're like 7, 8 inches, some of these girls.
But that's sexy.
Yeah, but still, that's dangerous. OSHA's going to get involved with the shoes, not the pole. How do you have a strip club without a pole? That's the whole...
No.
That's the imagery.
That's a given.
You need a pole.
You got to have the pole.
Even if they don't climb it. But every girl, they're gonna take their chances on the pole. Some are amazing.
I bet you all the strip clubs now probably don't allow them to climb poles anymore.
I don't know. I think they'll still allow because they're climbing at their own risk. The one girl who fell, she got over $30,000 already.
As an owner, well, that's from the...
the Pay Me fund. It's bullshit.
Yeah, the GoFundMe.
Yeah.
So that's the GoFundMe.
How do we know she really broke her jaw?
I don't know.
Fake news.
Yeah, probably.
She said it's to get a lot of money.
So anyway, if I was a strip club owner, I probably wouldn't let any of my strippers climb that pole anymore.
I would give like a 4-foot max. I wouldn't tell them to go up 20 feet or say, hey, come on, that's a little bit high.
Yeah.
But, 4 or 5 feet, even if you fall, what are you going to split? You're already, mushed up down there, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying, though? 4 or 5 feet's not bad.
Yeah, well, all right.
But a helmet, could you imagine? They have to throw on a helmet to go climb 20 feet?
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
And how many women can really climb 20 feet? For all the years you visited an establishment, let's just say, there's 1 or 2 in each city that can do it 20 feet high.
Yeah. There's always 1 or 2. There's always one that can. That does the acrobatics.
And they're amazing. They should be in.
Well, they have workouts now with stripper poles.
Yeah,
there's a workout. There's actual not stripper, but
it was called Fit Pole. There's one here in town. Shout out to that organization. Yeah, they teach you how to work it out on the pole.
I wonder how feminists think about that.
But it's physical fitness. Back to your physical fitness. They get confidence. Wouldn't you like your significant other to train on a pole so you install one in your home? Hey, baby, come over and work out. Don't mind me with the tissues and the lube.
It's entertaining to see, but for me, it's not really arousing.
No, it's not. It's not arousing at all. But it is impressive.
If anything, it's just more entertainment than anything.
Yes, well,
because you can go to Cirque du Soleil and see all the pole action you want, and
true.
It's better.
Yeah, but you're not paying $1.
That's
for
true.
Cirque du Soleil. But I mean, you know, you have to admit there's some amazing talent in every city, and then they do amazing things. But I agree, not one man in the world gives a shit about that acrobatics.
Right.
That's not sexy to anybody, but it's impressive.
It's entertaining.
I couldn't do it, right? I mean, there's not a man in practically any man that can do it.
Actually, I'm sure there is. I'm pretty
Well,
sure.
we don't
I'm
call
pretty
them
sure-
men, though.
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure you can go on YouTube and you can probably see a guy doing just amazing routine on a pole.
Okay, but let's say the general population that visits clubs, the people that visit the clubs, how many of them could actually get on the pole, go 20 feet, and twirl and do their little stunts? Very few. Generally speaking, I do give props to the women that can do that. It's very impressive. You know, we're not taking away from that. Just be careful. Wear your helmet.
Speaking of wearing a helmet,
Wear your helmet.
speaking of wearing a
Sounds
helmet,
funny.
what were you saying the other couple minutes ago about the brain surgery and the violinist?
Oh, absolutely. There was a story where a woman was going under brain surgery. She was a violinist, right? Playing the violin during surgery. And this was to ensure that she wouldn't lose that ability to play. And for the surgery, for the surgeon himself not to cut into the part of the brain that affects that ability. That's impressive.
So
That's just
so
crazy.
while she's playing and she plays a wrong note, and the brain surgeon's like, "Well,
Yeah.
we're not going to touch that part."
Fuck that one up. I don't even get how they could allow that. I mean, the pain, I mean, I'm sure they numb it and whatever, but brain surgery, and you're playing a violin during your brain surgery.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Very fascinating where this world's going. You know, 1,000 years from now, we'll look back how primitive we are, but still, today, that's impressive. You know, what do you think about that? I mean, seriously.
Well, there used to be a doc way back when medicine first started. There was a certain doctor that performed his own surgeries.
It's amazing.
You know, he numbed himself, and then
Sure.
he would do, I guess, a surgery on himself.
I would definitely like to see a movie about, you know, prehistoric medicine and doctors and, you know, the Jack the Rippers of the world, in a sense, where whatever they were doing, whether they're stealing cadavers or graveyard diggers or whatever, and performing these, operations and stuff. But, you know, the world would never agree with what they did, but we appreciate what they did. You know what I'm saying about that?
Pioneered.
Yeah, the pioneers of the medical institutions. I mean, there's no way that they did things legally. There's no way. You know, there's just no way.
Right.
Think about it. You know, they weren't operating on rats. You know, and I think even the Nazis and Germans, they were doing shit to people. And I heard they advanced in the medical field by doing those things. It's horrific. You know, by all means, that's disgusting. But the advancements that were probably made are amazing in the medical field, you know. But how do you do brain surgery for the first time ever? I mean, I don't know anything about it, but I'm just saying, like, who was the first that did brain surgery on a human being? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah,
They didn't just start off
that
and say,
was scary.
we're going to be the first ones to attempt this. They were doing that shit on somebody somewhere.
Well, I'm
You
sure they did on animals first. Like
Yeah.
maybe a monkey or something.
But still, even that, you know, it's amazing. I'm impressed with you know, that kind of thing.
Well, unfortunately,
Is
that
time
is
running
our
out?
time. All right, everyone, that is our time for this episode. Hopefully you learned something new. Maybe we even connected with some of you at some level, or you were just plain entertained. Thank you very much for joining us. Remember, always be grateful, think of the things you have in life, and don't obsess about what you don't have. Keep looking forward, and always strive to be better than you were yesterday. Thanks. See you next time.
Sweet. Until next time, be kind. Take care.